Hello and welcome to the brand new episode of The Cover, a show where we share with all our viewers a sneak peek into the latest issue of your favorite Business Today magazine. I'm Sakshi Batra, and joining in on this show with me, I have Krishna Gopalan, Deputy Editor, BT Magazine. Also with me is Manish Pant, he's the Assistant Editor at BT Magazine. Welcome, gentlemen, and thank you so much for taking out time and joining in on this discussion. So the new issue is already out on the stands, The Cover. We already have two more gentlemen over here. One is Rahul Bhatia, the aviation czar, and one is N. Chandrasekharan, the man behind the successful Air India Tata deal. And we will actually hope to understand what this dogfight alert is all about from Krishna and from Manish right here. So, Krishna, let's start off with you. Help me understand, why are you alerting us about this dogfight that could be in the offing now?
Yeah, it's probably fair to say that nobody really anticipated this 6 to 7 months ago. The acquisition of Air India actually changed everything. The Tatas, as all of us know, have a joint venture going with Singapore Airlines for Vistara, a full-service carrier. They also have a joint venture with AirAsia for a low-cost carrier. But the buyout of Air India has just brought such a huge product offering onto the table, because in one stroke they have a huge list of domestic and overseas destinations, notwithstanding a large number of aircraft. So it opens up the game completely for the Tatas from having been a relatively small player in the entire space. Indigo, as all of us know, controls over 50% of the market. And after a long time, it's probably fair to say that there's some seriously, unmissable competition for Indigo. It pretty much was ruling the skies for a long time. Now, with the Tatas having come in, the game really changes, which is exactly why we decided to go for a headline called Dogfight.
So, Manish, let me come to you. With the pandemic now hopefully behind us, international travel resuming, passenger traffic also recovering, is the aviation sector really set to soar again? What are the emerging trends that you've found and you've put in your essay in this book as well?
Yeah, thank you, Sakshi. Yes, the initial trends seem to be quite encouraging. Like, I'll throw some numbers at you. In February, as per DGCA data, 76.9 lakh passengers traveled. Just a month earlier in January, the figure was at 64.8 lakh passengers. So already, there is a sequential recovery in passenger numbers on domestic sectors. International, was basically India. Flights were being operated under air bubble agreements. But from 27th of last month, the embargo has been lifted, and international flights would have resumed. The country's largest OTA, Make My Trip, told us that already the airline bookings from their platform are at pre-COVID levels, that is 100%. So the trends are quite encouraging at this point in time, and the competition is also bound to heat up in the months ahead.
Yeah. Will it be tough for Indigo and the other players to stand against Tata's, which have 4 airlines under its wings now, which is 2 full-service carriers and 2 low-cost ones, especially when you talk about the international travel and the opportunities with business class and first class, which Tata's can give now?
There's obviously very clear positioning for the Tatas. The moment you have 4 airlines at your disposal, the ability to play around with the business is quite remarkable. Indigo, much as you may want to push the argument, it's really a low-cost carrier. And in terms of overseas destinations, they can cater to a Dubai or Doha at best, a limited part of the region close to the Med actually. But that's pretty much it because of the A320. With the Tatas, you actually think about it. You can actually, today, if you want to fly out, let's say from Delhi or Mumbai, you can fly to either of the cities, low cost or full service. You have that option. So the moment you have that, your ability to attract a large number of travelers across segments becomes that much greater. So the whole ability to open up the aviation business, courtesy of the network route, becomes that much simpler when you have 4 airlines at your disposal.
Absolutely. Manish, let me come back to you. You talked about the kind of revival, the numbers that are being shown in the trends emerging. But, the aviation industry is still facing a lot of challenges with the crude oil prices now touching newer highs, also ATF prices surging. What will be the areas, if that is going to be a huge, huge challenge, how do you think airlines will be competing from here? Or will we see a fair war that we have seen before also historically? How do you see it going forward?
The most interesting trend is that, of course, ATF will remain a very big challenge. That is why airline operators and, other stakeholders, including people in the government, they think that this is a very good time to bring aviation turbine fuel or jet fuel under the GST. To standardize the prices, because the ATF prices in the last In fact, in year to date have increased by over 90%. That is one. The next area of growth, interestingly, will be derived from category 2 and category 3 routes. In the years ahead, as we speak, they will contribute a very large chunk of traffic to domestic carriers.
Okay, Vistara has an advantage. We can clearly see that all these airlines will be definitely fighting for one slice of the sky for sure. It'll be interesting to see how this entire space really develops from here on. But let me just take a step forward, because apart from the aviation sector, there are a whole lot of other interesting stories that have been covered in this issue as well. Krishna, let me come to you. So not just in skies, but on ground too, in the retail space as well, we are seeing some other battles being played out between billionaires, the richest man in the world, and the richest man in India. Could you share some insights on how the fight for the future group is going to be unfolding in the days to follow?
Yeah, literally on the ground. There's no better way of putting it, because
Yeah.
you're speaking of departmental stores that have been taken over overnight. So the mechanism has been simple. Future, as all of us know, the Kishore Biani promoter group has been under financial duress for at least 3 to 4 years now, and it's got really aggravated because of COVID. They defaulted on rents. Reliance came in actually, but quite smartly, negotiated a whole deal with the mall owners. They said to sublease the space to Future, and when Future defaulted on the rent, Reliance took over the business completely. So now we're having a situation where Reliance owns the departmental stores. We're speaking of over 800 in strategic locations. And the interesting part is Amazon has been looking to buy over Future Retail, and they've actually been outwitted completely. So overnight, Big Bazaar is now called Smart Bazaar with a Reliance logo, and issues back in the court.
Well, that's right, Krishna. You know what also caught my eye was some of the very interesting graphics about kitchen economics that have been put in this issue as well. Of course, this is something that all of us are interested in, with the rise in domestic fuel prices, gas prices, how the budgets of our kitchen have been getting disturbed. So if you could throw some lights on how these interesting graphics have been also incorporated in various stories in this issue.
In the case of kitchen economics, inflation is something that hits all of us. The smart thing is to play out with the numbers, and that's what we attempt to do. In fact, just to take a step forward, if you look at all our stories, the moment it's a number play, the graphics are simple, the pictures align themselves, the graphics, and eventually you have a clear takeaway for the reader in terms of numbers. The problem with numbers, more often than not, is that they tend to scare the reader. But here we've attempted to break down the whole thing, have something like a segment reporting. Kitchen economics is a classic example of just telling you how much of a hole in the wallet it's going to be. So it has a very clear objective and a very simple way of putting out the numbers.
Well, okay. On that note, I think we will wrap up this edition. But all in all, I believe this magazine definitely makes it a very, very interesting and insightful read for everybody who wants to understand the way industries, especially aviation sector, is shaping up going forward from here, and how our macros really going to be impacting our wallets as well. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for sharing your insights on this issue.
If you like the video, do like, comment, share and subscribe.